Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the D&T Wrestling Show, episode 11. We're back at you today. I am your host, Daniel, the D in the D&T. And now get this, today you're going to be joined today by my co-host with the most, the man with the plan, the T in the D&T, Tyler, Mr. TNT. Tyler, tell the people how we're feeling today on this Wednesday afternoon, my friend.
What is up, D&T Nation? We are doing great. We're doing great. We had a little bit of an eventful weekend this past weekend with wrestling. Not technically a PLE because I don't think they're promoting Saturday night's main event as a PLE, but it's extra wrestling on a different day than Friday or Monday, right? So we had Friday Night SmackDown. We had, if you haven't checked it out, we did a live watch-along of Saturday night's main event on Saturday.
Yep.
We had a couple of our friends in there, gave a couple of their takes, right? So go check that out on YouTube. That's episode 10.
Yep.
And then you obviously get to hear some of the live reactions that we had with, Bronson Reed coming out and joining Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. Cody Rhodes coming back now too. So we got some cool reactions out of that stuff too. So I thought that was very fun.
And I'll just add, that was the episode associated with Saturday Night Main Event today here for y'all. We will talk about it, of course, but that's not the aim of today's episode. Today we will be going over Monday Night Raw from 2 days ago on the 26th of May. We will also not necessarily do full not full Money in the Bank predictions. We will instead be doing more of just a discussion of like the build up to this point, just because we've already had a good amount of high profile people getting put in the match, winning their qualifying match, and we have a few other topics as well to go over, just the state of WWE and just our where we're at, because next week will probably be the juicy Money in the Bank prediction episodes. That'll be really, really fun. So Tyler, unless you got anything else to say for these fine people to start off our show today, you can take it away with the first promo of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, we'll lead into the first promo. The promo was Seth Rollins comes out with his new posse. I guess same posse with Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman, but the new member that is joined with them as well from Saturday night's main event, and it is Bronson Reed. So yeah, they start walking to the ring. To be honest with you, there wasn't a lot of promo. It was basically just Seth Rollins sitting there saying like, "I'm gonna be in Money in the Bank. I'm gonna win. And then I'll have an option at either title." Basically, is what he said. I'll be the dangerous human, the most dangerous human on the roster, right? Yeah. Which he could be foreshadowing. That is also, and then like Paul Heyman also had the mic and he was talking about Braun Breaker, potentially main eventing 5-6 WrestleManias down the road.
Yeah.
And he said his one liner, right? That's not a fact, that's a spoiler. Which I mean, he's not wrong. I don't think he's wrong. And then he was also just saying the reason that Bronson Reed was joining their faction, and it was kind of what you said, Daniel, on Saturday night's main event. Like, Seth is like, well, the only person that could do that much damage to me should be aligned with me, right? So like,
why would I want to be his enemy?
Punk, yeah,
exactly.
Not even CM Punk or Roman together could take Seth Rollins out like Bronson Reed did, and I mean, he's not wrong. This was a promo straight full of facts. So yeah, that again, and then it was just like I said, Seth Rollins kind of playing with the crowd. The crowd was very weird. They were cheering his song, and Seth even mentioned it, right? Seth even mentioned it. He was like, "You were just singing my song not but 5 minutes ago. What happened?" And then because basically all Seth said was the truth. Yeah. All he said was the truth, and they started booing him, and then he goes back again like 5 minutes later and they start singing a song again. It was definitely a weird crowd. Seth was kind of trying to react to everything. He was taking really long pauses, trying to figure out how to, go about the situation. But other than that, that's pretty much all it was. Him declaring for a match to qualify for the Money in the Bank. And obviously that match is later in the night.
Later in the night. Yeah. Pretty solid promo to start off the show. I think this was all about presentation. It was just about seeing what they look like. I was watching this with my girlfriend, and I was getting her into wrestling, all that kind of thing. It was an interesting show to do that for.
Mhm.
But I was pointing out like Braun and Bronson. I'm wondering what little cool nicknames could come from that. But I was like, Braun and
Right.
Bronson are both wearing the same thing, but they have different sunglasses on, which I thought was a funny not similar. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know if they were supposed to, but it was like they had different styles of shades. But then Seth had his own different style of shades. So, um, it was just about
By the
seeing what they
way,
look like. Oh yeah,
Bronson and Bronson and Braun Breaker as a tag team would go absolutely crazy, in my opinion.
well, right, and I'm wondering if that's gonna come up here soon that they will be a part of it. Well, that's what I was really about to get to, just the idea that like, if this is kind of like a new bloodline, a new Judgment Day or whatever, are we gonna get like funny little backstage promos like that might not further a story, but how many like legendary promos were pretty much just Roman and Heyman back there, and it's Jimmy and Jay shooting the shit, and they're all just kind of fucking around, and it's just funny, right? Like, I'm
Yep.
wondering how much of that we'll get, or if it'll all just be like, just further the story, like get it, do big things. But it's like I'm interested to see which type of group this will be going forward. Because
Yeah, for sure.
this promo is what I would consider like a big thing. Like it's in your face. It's the first promo of the night. It's supposed to capture a lot of time, and Seth is supposed to be talking a lot. I liked it though. Like you said, it was obviously the crowd was just they were just saying what they were feeling in that exact second in time. Like, we want to boo
Yep.
you, and now we want to sing. We're booing you again, and you're calling us out for the booing, so now we're singing again. Like, okay, all right, whatever. But Seth is funny in this. Just yeah, I'm kind of wondering where the first big story beat kind of drops with this group.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, the first one is actually Bronson, I guess you could say, but now will it be that they do spearhead right into Punk? Will they just keep going after kind of everybody? Will it be that Seth wins this Money in the Bank and blah blah blah? We'll get to that later, of course, but I do just generally like this faction. Obviously, I know you do. Two of your favorite wrestlers, period, are on this roster, or sorry,
Dude, I
on this
love
faction.
Bronson too. Like
Let me ask you
after like
this.
the past few
Oh, sorry.
years is watching Bronson Reed. Go ahead. I
Oh
was just
yeah.
saying Bronson Reed was. I've loved him. He's been fantastic the past 2 years that I've watched him.
No,
So
Bronson's been awesome. He's been one of the guys that I think me and you both have liked a lot, and it was a shame when he did get injured, jumping off
yeah,
the damn steel cage and
still
breaking
cage,
his
right?
leg into pieces. But I respect him for it because he's too
Oh
big to
yeah.
be doing that in the first place, and he still did it.
Oh
So,
yeah.
let me ask you this: I might have missed it, but I'm assuming I didn't. And you could give me any ideas if you have them. What is the name for this faction, or do we not really?
They really haven't
Is it not
said.
out there? So do you think there's a good
I think
one?
it's just like the visionary group
Division,
because
the
that's kind of
visionary
like
group.
yeah, something like that.
I feel like
Yeah.
that falls too short though. You know what I mean? Like I've seen people say like
It's
this
not
is
like I don't think there is a set name yet.
right
I
now.
just
I
know
think you're
Seth
right.
has been
Yeah.
saying like we are the vision, we are the future of the industry, like that type of
Well,
stuff, right?
that's what I'm saying.
So
I wonder if this will just be called like the Vision or something like that. Like this is
I could
what
see it,
that I hope that they assign a name to it soon because this is wrestling. I mean, what is it all
the
about if
vision
not
or the industry or
the
something like that.
industry? Something a little like that. Yeah. But again, like I just hope that they give this a little more character here soon. It doesn't have to be anything
Mhm.
crazy. I think they do it. They did a great job giving Judgment Day and the Bloodline character throughout all these years, with just little things. So that's all I really
Yeah,
would add to that. If you Unless you have anything else, we
nothing
can
else. Take
go on to the
take
next
the
thing.
match.
All right, so we got the first match of the night after that promo. This is the Money in the Bank qualifying match. You've got Chad Gable, not El Grande Americano. You've got Chad Gable versus Dragon Lee versus Penta, actually, in a triple threat qualifier match. This match was actually really fun. It's not hard to imagine why. Obviously, Chad is just one of the best in the business, and then you're putting him in with these luchadors, which is pretty clear and obvious. That's just he's been building this body of work recently of just constantly wrestling the best luchadors out there, at least the best of the WWE has to offer at the moment. So this match was just more of that, and it was a triple threat. So some of the really cool spots. The coolest one easily is that uh, Dragon Lee. Or am I thinking? Does Dragon Lee do it to Chad, or does Chad do it to Dragon Lee? It's one of the other. It's one or the other, where they basically catch the other out of the air to do
Chad
I
catches
guess,
Dragon Lee.
yeah. So he catches him, and then he turns it into like a Mexican destroyer, doesn't he, or Canadian destroyer, whichever one it was. Like it was a very cool. Like he goes, catches him from the top rope, flips him out of the catch, and then I believe does some type of like pile drive
If it's
down.
like a destroyer move, then it would be Dragon Lee probably doing it to
Then
Gable. I
that
don't
might have
know.
been what it was, but it was
But
something
then
like
Gable
that.
also did the double suplex where he picked both of them up.
That
Like
was very cool.
Penta's going to do the Penta driver onto Dragon Lee, and Gable comes up from behind and
Just
does
gets
the
them
double
both. Yep.
suplex. It was sick. It
Penta
was
did a
cool.
spot where he did a Mexican destroyer and a I don't remember what it's called, but it's where you string them to your back and tombstone them down, basically.
Yes,
He
I
did
don't know
that.
what it's called
He
either.
did that to both of them at the same time. They did a lot of these moves where both people get hit. I think Dragon Lee did a spot where he lands on both of them from like a high flying move. Jesus, my nose is getting stuffy. But the idea here is that this was a great triple threat match. You know what I mean, for a TV match.
Oh yeah.
No crazy story behind it. No belt. For a match like this, they made it as good as it possibly could be. Crazy spot where I want to say it was Dragon Lee jumping out to the table. Yeah, onto Chad
Oh yeah,
Gable.
dude. He like flew.
Yeah, so the match takes place outside of the ring at a certain point. It gets out to the announcers table. This is important because what happens here is, they're really hyping up the AAA stuff that's going to be featured, the pay per view that's going to be featured with AAA
Mhm.
previous to Money in the Bank on this upcoming June 7th or whatever day it is. And El Hijo del Vikingo is set to
Yeah.
fight El Grande Americano or Chad or whichever one. And so Chad sees him in the crowd here, which he is here in the front row.
Bless you.
And Chad fucking sees this man and he like punches him right in the face, right? Just randomly, very randomly. But it is funny because I'm pretty sure El Hijo del Vikingo like kind of maybe forgot that this was gonna happen. I don't know because you could see him kind of laughing. It was really funny.
Yeah.
Like he was trying not to break the obviously immersion, but he's like laughing and because he's being brought into this. So the idea here is that the distraction that Chad basically creates for himself, you know, gives enough room for you know, Dragon Lee and Penta to fight back into it, blah blah blah. Then it gets to a point where Dragon Lee hits Chad with his finisher, but then that sets up for Penta to hit his finisher onto Chad to then eventually win the match. So it is Penta that wins this. Penta is now in the Money in the Bank. He beat Chad Gable. He beat Dragon Lee. Definitely was never going to be Dragon Lee, I think, to win this one, but
Yeah. No.
it seemed just from the rip like it was definitely going to be Chad or Penta, and it makes sense. I think more sense that it is Penta. Would not have been mad at all if it was Chad, but they're clearly just doing a very specific story for Chad right now. It's very specific. It's very attuned to him. I don't think it even needs a belt
Like super
necessarily.
specific,
It's
which is
very
crazy.
specific, and like it's maybe this all ends with the belt. That probably makes sense, but not. It doesn't need to happen right now, and he certainly doesn't need to have the Money in the Bank running through the next few months. So yeah, that was that match. Some interference, some build up for the match at the AAA thing. El Vikingo was in there. That's cool, and a lot of high flying, crazy triple threat stuff. What more could you ask for? Tyler, what'd you think of that match? First match of the night.
Yeah, the match was good. Like you said, there was plenty of spots. Obviously, a match with all three of those people are just it's gonna do numbers, right? It's
Yeah,
just all three of them are fantastic. Chad Gable really, really, really does work well with anybody, right? But he does work well with these luchador style wrestlers, and I can probably see that's why, he's doing this single-minded type of just focus, right? He's only focused after the luchador stuff, and I do think this will lead to Chad Gable getting a belt because it's like I think Triple H and him have a conversation. Triple H is like, Chad, if you can put over all of these luchador,
yeah.
Mexican, Latino, whatever you want, like all these types of wrestlers, if you can do that, you are going to make us a lot of money. We're going to repay you with titles, and you're going to be pushed to the
Main
moon
event
after the
stuff.
fact.
Yeah.
So it's like I think Chad's willing to do it, right? I think he can do it, and we'll see what happens with this pay-per-view that's literally three
Right.
hours before Money in the Bank. But okay.
We'll see how
Um,
good it
a
is.
funny thing is too is that they so Alberto Del Rio,
Right.
right, is in AAA. He is the current AAA like champion, right? And they promoted El Hijo, whatever you want to say his name, in his match, or they basically. Let me rephrase that. They promoted El Hijo as the AAA champion,
Oh,
but
I know. Okay, yeah, yeah. Keep
they
going.
have a
I heard about
match.
this. That's right.
They have a match like either today or tomorrow or
I
something,
think it's
whatever it
tomorrow.
is.
I think it's
They
Thursday.
have a
Yeah.
match together for the belt, so they basically spoiled uh, the AAA
And
outcome. But
didn't they
hey,
try to put
whatever.
like a different one out there to not spoil it? And it's like, well,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
already put the
it's
other
rough.
one out, so
It's rough, right?
okay.
So, but yeah, that's all I gotta say. Yeah, the match was good. Yeah, you're trying to promote the AAA stuff, which I get it, cool. And the spots were cool. I mean, yeah, we all probably knew Penta was winning. Um, in my opinion, that's kind of the only answer that I had. Yes, Gable would have been cool to win, but yeah, Penta was the only kind of like real chance winner that I had seen. So, yeah, the match was really, really good.
Yeah, I agree. I got nothing else to say though. We can go on to the next match.
Yeah, I'll move to the next one. So, the next one is the match that was announced last week. We have Rusev versus Akira Tozawa. This was a squash match, obviously.
What?
Um, it was a squash match to set up, you know, so Rusev and Akira Tozawa come in. Rusev basically hits Akira with a kick, then puts him in a sleeper hold. Akira taps out, keeps going, and then we hear, boom, Sheamus's music hits. So Sheamus comes out and confronts Rusev. I guess they used to have either. I guess they used to be friends back in the day, like allies back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah, something like
Because that's
that.
what Michael Cole was saying. He's like once friends, now enemies, or whatever he said, right?
I think it's when
So
Rusev
yeah,
was like a face basically, like and Sheamus was also like a big guy face, and they would
yeah,
pal
yeah.
around. Yeah.
So yeah, they went eye to eye. Sheamus eyed him up and down, and then Rusev just ended up walking out, and then that was the next thing. That's pretty much all it was.
Yeah.
Nothing much.
It wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot. I don't even know if I have a lot to say about this.
Nope.
I guess the Toadzawa, Bowser, Mario, all that is dead.
That's
They Triple H,
unfortunate.
you just don't understand. When you have Peak in front of you, but it's okay.
Could have
But
done it.
no,
Could have
I
done it.
guess Sheamus and Rusev is cool. I guess. It's one of those matches. Two giant dudes will be fighting. Rusev doesn't look too bad in the ring. Like he looks, pretty dominant. Obviously, though, it's like he was against Tozawa, and like literally everybody looks pretty damn good against Tozawa. Tozawa's actually pretty good. I mean, he's good at selling. He's
Yep.
good at just being the character he is. You know, no one ever lets Tozawa beat them ever. It's always a Tozawa loss.
Yeah. To be fair, I mean when Braun Breaker came out from NXT, he literally had like 6 weeks straight of just squash matches with
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
random talent, right? So I see what they're doing with Rusev. He had a really good match with Otis. Obviously he knocked Otis out of the picture, so Akira wanted to fight for Otis. And Sheamus is gonna put on a good match regardless. It's a good little feud for Rusev right now, because there is some history there, like Cole said, and I'm excited. It'll probably be like a best out of three situation for them, just to keep a feud going, to keep them on TV. Um, and yeah, I like it. I really do think they're going to put on some good matches. I think Sheamus can elevate talent like crazy. Um, and it's a perfect hero and villain situation. Like it's a perfect situation. Sheamus
Yeah.
is like super super over. Rusev is this like dirty, like but big muscular bully type of guy, right? Sheamus is the person that's going to come and save her. It's just I think it's a good, very 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 good pairing for both of them. So, but again, not really much to say about the entire thing.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see how it turns out. But I don't have much else. We can go on to the next. Do you want to do the next thing as well?
Sure, yeah, I can
Since
take
that
it.
one was
I
long,
can
it's
take
up
it.
to you. Yeah. Okay.
So the next thing that we get is the match that was again announced last week. the New Day versus the Creed brothers, but also including the War Raiders as well because they just wanted a shot. In a triple threat tag match, which was very weird to do because you still had to tag an extra a person in. I don't like the triple threat tag matches. Just make them like a triple threat tornado tag, basically, where everybody's in the ring at the same time. I mean, you got SmackDown doing triple threat freaking ladder matches. Why can't you just do the same thing over on Raw? Makes no sense. Like you're not giving them enough TV time, regardless. So I don't know. Those tag matches are weird to me. But you know, cut to the chase. New Day ends up rolling up on the Creed brothers. I think he pins either Brutus or Julius. I don't remember which one. Um, because of like the New Day during the match, like they were basically teaming up with the
Yeah.
Creed brothers to take on the War Raiders. So basically, New Day was having Creed brothers do their dirty work, and then New Day just come in and roll up pin
Yeah.
to win. Because as soon as they win, they sprint out of the building, and that's it. That's pretty much the entire match. You know, there were some cool spots here and there, like Cody or not Cody. Xavier Woods did the off the turnbuckle, and there was like whoever was laying in the middle rope right there. He did off the turnbuckle onto the side of like the hardest part of the ring.
Yeah.
That was like the coolest spot that I've seen. Which is it's an insane spot.
was wild.
But other than that, there was nothing really too.
It was all right. It was
Too
like
much, right?
it was like I was hoping to see more from the Creed brothers in this match as far as like actual wrestling spots, but they were a little, like you said, a little more involved with like the story that was being told.
Yeah, yeah.
And you said that the New Day retained, right? Like that they won.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Because as soon as they won, they ran out of the building.
they were out of there. Yeah. So I'll just say like I think. We said this. I think on one of our first episodes, just talking about the New Day. I think it was the leading up to the WrestleMania episode we did. Just talking about how with them, it's fun that they're heels. It's not bad that they're heels. It's just more like that's kind of all it's felt like. Oh, they're just bad guys now. There was no real crazy story to it. But I do feel like now the longer term story with them is that they're bad guys, yes, but they've been doing all this work of like being really friendly versus like being like we're better than all of you. Screw you guys. They're like no, they're really friendly and they do all this kind of like shadowy like Littlefinger from Game of Thrones type work with you see him always in the background of these promos like talking to these other tag teams, to the other heels, and this is the first time that where that has directly impacted a result of one of their matches. And so this is what the true storytelling with them is, and I like it. I'm wondering if there will be time under the sun for literally anything, whether it's the Creeds or it's them, somebody addressing it on the mic going, man, the New Day really is like they're kind of pretending to be your friend and they're really not. Maybe it circles back around to where it's like, man, the New Day had everybody love them, then everybody hated them. Then when they even got some people to be their friend, they still messed it up and everybody still hates the New Day.
Yep.
And that would be a fun like kind of story to tell with them. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have much to add. I really do, and just in general, like that the Creeds are where they are, being used so much like this, being used prominently. A couple years ago, you can I've been saying I've been liking them a lot. They've been one of my favorite tag teams to watch. Julius I like a lot, but honestly the two of them are great. Like they're just such great wrestlers. They go above and beyond to do really fun tag team moves, and honestly they're one of the only teams capable of doing certain moves because of how strong and athletic they are. So it's kind of like what's not to like.
It just sucks that they feel like they're the secondary of
like
the tags.
I get what you're
teams
saying
in the division, right?
It'll
'Cause
take
obviously
time.
War Raiders had the belt, and then New Day comes and snatches that, and it's really just between those two, right? And then Creed brothers are just there to just.
I think with the way everything's
Take the
getting set
pin,
up,
right?
it does feel like maybe this is finally their time coming up here. I don't know if it's going to be at like Money in the Bank. Maybe that is what gets set up, right? Like Creed brothers come out and they're like, screw this, you know what I mean? Like you guys betrayed us, like we won our last shot, and then maybe they finally get their titles. I don't know. I think they will get one soon. I just don't know exactly when, exactly how, but it's obvious that they like them, and they're young. They're young as shit. Like compared to the War Raiders or the New Day, they're way younger. So it'd be nice. But other than that,
They got plenty of time. They definitely have plenty of time.
Yeah. So did you have anything else on this match? Or like New Day?
No, you can Go ahead and take the next. I would say two things.
Yeah. So first one, and I'm glad that I get this one, but first one would be a Jey Uso promo, a Yeet promo, where he comes out through the crowd after a commercial break. Tyler, I mean, this is probably one of those things where it's like every single week Raw type of thing. Yes, they're just doing it. It's just another, Jay, come out, do the Yeet thing, talk a little bit. But
Yeah,
this one was,
they gotta stop it, dude. They gotta stop it. I
yeah,
understand it's for the crowd and the crowd pays for it, and like if you don't
it's
get it in the
just
crowd,
it's
like I
wastes so
even went
much
to a
time.
show and I was like, oh, we got mad Jey Uso, we didn't get like the oh yeah,
Right,
yeet Jey
right.
Uso, right? So I get it as a fan in the crowd, you want to do that stuff, but Jesus, dude, it's
It's boring to watch over and over. I'm gonna be honest with y'all.
yeah.
I don't. If y'all are watching this and
Just don't do
you
it every week. Like do it like once every other week or
just
whatever it
right,
is.
it should
Like
not be like this every single week. It really is killing the vibe for me at this point. And I'll get to I guess what I'm about to say about the promo. Like it further kills it for me because this promo sucked. Okay, like just to keep it real, with y'all. Like once he actually talked on the mic, this is just probably one of the worst Jay promos he's done. There's a couple like
yeah.
this, which is why it's like annoying at this point. So it's like he does the Yeet thing. He comes in. The idea here
Well,
is that this was supposed to be a promo where he's like chopping it up against Gunter, right? And it's so, um, you know, Gunter comes out, and this was already kind of premeditated, right? Because we already know that Gunter was calling out Jay and Logan and saying, well, whichever one of you wins, I am going to be your next
yep.
opponent. Maybe they'll change something up and give someone an avenue in throughout the next couple weeks. But at the moment, it looks like it'll be Jay versus Gunter, probably at like Money in the Bank, right? So, uh, or whatever they said after Money in the Bank. I can't remember what it was. We had this discussion, I think, on the live stream, and I still can't remember when exactly Gunter's supposed to fight him. But
Yep.
Gunter will fight Jay, and honestly, like again, Gunter is way better than Jay in this promo. Gunter says all these things along the lines of like, he always I say this whenever we're watching it, and I'll say it here on the episode. But Gunter's whole style of promo is like, and being a heel is like he builds you up, he builds you up, he says all the positives and recognizes them to kind of take the wind out of your sails.
No, Gunther was spitting this one. Gunther
He
was doing,
yeah
yeah, he was
he
doing really
builds you
well.
up to tear you down, right? That's what he does. He says all the positives to then wipe it all out and say why it's meaningless. So his whole thing here is like, Jay, you've done great. I respect you. You beat me. You made me tap out. You beat Logan. Congratulations on your first title defense. Amazing. Awesome. You still do not. You still are not a champion to me. Like you still don't
Yeah.
have what it takes. I like you are just not a natural. He was like, you don't have like the natural champ in you, kind of just saying like it just doesn't
Yeah.
feel right, like saying things that like fans might say, funnily enough. And as Gunter is doing this, it seems pretty obvious that Jay is supposed to be having a back and forth with him, like an actual maybe
Dude.
back and forth. Jay Uso just paces back and forth. He kind of like just kind of
Dude,
looks
it was
mad, and
bad.
then and
It
it's
was
almost
so
like maybe
bad.
he whispered like, "Just keep going, like just keep going." I don't know, you know what I mean? And so Gunter would have a pause
Oh,
and not say
bad.
anything, and then he would just keep going and just keep talking shit, and then it kind of gets to the point where Jay's finally supposed to respond. Or before this, basically, Gunter's like real thing is he's like, you know, I basically think you don't have the intellect to be a good champion. Like, you don't deserve to be a champ because you're not smart enough. That's what he literally says as Jay is forgetting his lines, obviously. And so it's like, oh my God, dude. Like,
It
I don't
was
know.
rough. It was rough.
This promo actually really killed it. Not killed it completely. I don't hate Jay or anything, but I'm like, you know what? How many times does the main belt holder get to just have a completely horrible promo? You know what I mean? Like that's just ridiculous. And
And he's
I
had
don't
it more than
understand at this
once.
point. Like
He's had it more than once.
we brought this up, a while ago. At this point, like I don't understand what's going on at this point, Jay. Like you think he's been working on it, doesn't really feel like he has. Something's
I
going
feel
on.
so bad, dude. I feel so bad because it's
Yeah,
like if you want to be a main champion, you either have to be a really good like shitty heel, or you have to be a good baby
yeah,
face that can, bump a crowd up and, defend himself. I mean, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes
yeah,
is an anomaly. Um, but he held his own against John Cena. Like
yeah,
like he did what he had to do. You have to be a person if you want to be in the main event scene like that. You have to be a person that, elevates your talent to come back to be even better. And he just doesn't. He just doesn't do that.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. Like if he got in a promo battle with freaking Seth, or if he got in a promo, but like a true promo battle, dude, Jay's getting waxed. It's just
Yeah.
brutal. It sucks, dude. It really does.
I
It's
just I actually think there's a pretty damn good chance that Gunther just takes this belt. Maybe it's maybe this is where they just do a quick cash in. Let's just get this off Jay. I
yeah,
really would not be mad if that's the kind of direction that's going forward. And Jay can still be a main event guy. He's had his run now. It's great. We all recognize that he's been a champ, but this is not what I would call quality, to be honest. I'd rather it be Seth.
yeah.
I'd rather it be Gunther. I'd rather it be Logan Paul. I'd rather it be Braun Breaker. I'd rather it be who's even like a fucking random dark. I'd fucking Jesus Christ. I'd rather it be damn Finn Balor. You know what I mean? Like I don't know,
Yeah.
someone just crazy like that, like AJ Styles. I don't know. Just Jay really needs some work. He got his time in the sun. It doesn't mean he can't do it again. It's just right now. I think
Yeah.
it's just pissing me off. Like we literally, it feels like every week it's like this is the worst promo I've ever seen from Jay, and then the next week he'll be like that promo was really great from Jay. He really brought it, and then the next week it's like man that sucked again. It's like why are we getting such an inconsistent like
It sucks because
performance
like
from the champ?
everybody
He doesn't even
wanted him
wrestle
to
that
have a
much.
title. Like everybody wanted him to have a title.
Yep.
You know,
The Yeet thing
when
really
he
is
was
carrying
going
it.
to
Like
when he was going to win the IC title the first time, like everybody's
yeah,
like, Jay needs a title, Jay needs a title, like put him in the main event. And I think they waited way too long to
they built
do
it a
it.
lot, right? I agree.
Like it's like when people first, like, yes, people love the Yeet stuff now still, right? But it's like when he was first doing it, when he was first getting those back in Paris, dude. Like back in Paris when he was getting like all of that stuff, and then after that
Yeah,
it's
that's
still
true.
like it carried on after that. You gotta pull the trigger then, dude. You just have to. You can't, and that's the same thing with like LA Knight. That's the same thing. That's the
I was literally about to
problem.
bring him up. That's so funny.
That's
Yeah,
the problem with WWE right now, and just what I've noticed ever since coming back is that they are not capitalizing on
they don't.
the hype at that point in time. I get what they're trying to do. Do not get me wrong.
Yeah,
They want these prestigious titles. They don't want to do what Vince did. And every time that you get a
and
pop,
just throw shit
you get a
around.
title.
Yeah,
You get a
yeah,
title. I get it. But in some circumstances, like when you're getting that big of a pop,
yeah.
you gotta pull the trigger. You either gotta pull the trigger on an instant storyline. Like they pulled the trigger with LA Knight when he got that, right? They were like, okay, LA Knight, you are getting the craziest pops every single night. Go fight Roman for the title. He didn't win, but like
I mean, and
they capitalized.
remember, and they threw the Slim Jim thing at him just to give him something because it was like this
Yeah,
guy's too popular right now. So
yeah,
yeah, well, I was gonna say that's so funny you bring up LA Knight. I was gonna say like if we're thinking of them in the same way, LA Knight being someone who hasn't gotten the main belt yet. That would be someone else who I also, if there's a draft maybe possibly still coming up, throw LA Knight on
yeah.
Raw, let him take the belt straight up. I'm so serious.
I love it.
But this is the thing. Like this is all built off the fact that Jay messed his promo up, and like I told y'all, this wasn't a thing where he didn't really. It sounded like make up better, like just lines on the fly. He literally just kind of let the promo end, and he's done this multiple times.
Dude. And then
So
he just went straight to, I'm gonna tap you out.
yeah, he's like
Yeet, and then
he literally
left.
just
And
cuts
it's
right
like,
to the end.
oh,
How many times have
dude,
you
it
done
was
this?
just like, what are
Whereas,
you doing?
right, so someone like I would say LA Knight, I would actually say he messes up his lines quite a bit, and it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. He just rolls through that
No.
shit. He doesn't give a fuck. He has all the confidence in
Yeah.
the world. You can tell when he messes up. He slips on his words all the time, and he says weird shit that doesn't make sense. And
But
it's
he'll
like,
be like,
it literally doesn't matter. He's just
like,
rolls right through it.
haha, yeah, and then he'll just go back to doing,
next to
like,
the next thing,
like,
right to the
even
next
though
thing.
even though I said that, you're still like he'll roll with it, right? So he's just a good speaker, right? It's just I know
It's a
exactly
great,
what you're
and
talking
so I'm
about.
like, why exactly am I sitting here still watching Jay as the world heavyweight champ and not guys like LA Knight? Why again am I? And even Logan Paul has never slipped up even close to the way how bad Jay has been. Are you kidding me? This is what I'm saying. Like, at what point are we going to stop just playing the game of like, oh well, dude, the Yeet stuff. Like, no, I get it. Hey, and y'all took the belt. I said this a couple weeks ago. Now I'm getting mad about it because y'all should have given him the Jeff Hardy treatment by now. What's going on? Why did Jeff Hardy get it taken from him faster than Jey Uso right now? This is what I don't understand. Because Jeff Hardy could cut a promo and he wrestled better. He was actually fun to watch. So whatever. I'm done hating on Jey Uso. That was just like one promo. They didn't even like hit each other or anything. So
Yeah, yeah.
I was going to take the actual match too, wasn't I? Yeah. So the next,
Yeah,
or
take the match.
unless did you have anything else to kind of throw onto that before I
No,
like actually? Okay,
just keep rolling.
we'll keep
We
rolling.
talked way too much on that anyway. So
No, it's all right. It's all right. That's what the people are here for. So the
you're
next
right.
actual match though is a fun one. So they start off showing the promo in the backstage. It's Kairi Sane is finally back and she's talking with Io. They're like literally talking in Japanese, so you don't really know what they're saying. And then Liv and Raquel walk up on them, and it's just Liv kind of like just kind of making fun of Kyrie, like, oh, Kyrie's back, like, oh my god, but she couldn't win Money in the Bank, like she couldn't win her qualifier, like Liv's just being a
Yeah.
brat, like she always is. And so Kyrie like cusses her out in Japanese and then takes her finger and like puts it right on her forehead and she goes, "I'm going to beat you tonight." And like it was so good, it was so funny. Like I really do love when the foreign wrestlers can get a lot out of these short. This is what I'm saying. Like some of these people do so much better work on this shit. Again, not to get mad about what we just talked about, but it's like
Yeah.
this was actually a funny little promo, and it led into Liv being like, "Yeah, I'll fight you tonight, sure. Yeah, why not?" And so that leads into the match. It's Liv versus Kyrie. Um, it wasn't insane. It wasn't like the best match in the world. It did just kind of feel like a match to like let everybody remember who Kyrie is. Uh, let Liv have a match back from her movie. Being gone for a while.
Kyrie put that bulk on, and she's like
Kyrie
not
did.
as like high flyer as she used
Yeah.
to be.
She didn't seem as
Um,
nimble as quick. And honestly, Liv didn't
yeah,
feel as nimble as quick. So I do think this was a match for both of them to get the rust
just get
off.
rust off, right? Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And so again, not a lot to really touch on as far as moves or spots, but what importantly does end up happening here is Kairi Sane is like on the top rope looking to set up her flying elbow. That's one of her signature moves, I believe. I don't remember if it's her. I don't think it's her finisher. I think she does like an actual lay down type of slam from the top ropes. I don't
Yeah, I
think,
don't
but
know.
I
I
don't
don't
remember
know.
exactly. But her signature is definitely doing like a flying forearm off the top rope. So before that could kind of like before Liv could finally walk over to where she is and connect with that, Liv and the ref are and I think maybe Raquel. No, it's just Liv and the ref are having kind
Yeah,
of like a little spat. The ref isn't looking, so who comes out? It's Roxanne, the newest member of the Judgment Day, who comes out to kind of just help, I guess, be helpful, try to prove herself.
she pushes Kyrie Sane off the
She pushes
turnbuckle.
Kairi Sane off the turnbuckle, but Raquel doesn't like. She doesn't like that this even happened. She just. I don't. It's obvious that this wasn't planned between
She's
the
just
group.
like, "Why are you here?"
She's like, "Why are you here? Why are you here?" So this arguing on the outside catches Liv's attention. Instead of going after Kyrie, who just got shoved and like stunned, Liv starts to pay too much attention to Raquel and Roxanne arguing. So then Kyrie kind of gets her senses back, goes up behind Liv, rolls her up out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. Kyrie wins the match, and she kind of like storms before anyone can notice what's going on. She kind of runs off and takes
Yep.
the dub. And it was just a fun little way for us to see some division driven between Roxanne and Liv and Raquel, which we were already kind of anticipating that, but this is them being definitive about it now that they're all here together. And they literally at the end do this like Roxanne is just sitting there staring like deer-eyed at Liv, who's staring back at her like dagger-eyed, and they just keep
He's like,
switching.
"I was just trying to
No,
help. Like, I
no, no,
was
no.
really
But
just trying to help."
the camera, like if y'all
Yeah,
watch it on YouTube even, and like they show the end of
yeah.
this, it's just like them looking at each other, and then just like a soap opera almost, like this back and forth of the camera looking at one, look at the other, look at one, look at the other. They did this like 6 times back and forth, and they're just sitting there looking. It's like just go to commercial, just go to commercial. But no, it was good. Fun little advancement for that story. But other than that, I don't really have a ton to say. Just a fun group of people in general, but a average match. What do you have to say about this?
Yeah, the match was okay. I think it definitely helps Kyrie now because she had to take the pin last week
True. That's
because
a
of
good
the
point.
Zoe Stark right. So she had to take the pin last week, but she gets a pin now over Liv Morgan, a big talent like that. Um, Maybe not clean, but right, it's still a good pin. She still won the match, so that helps. That helps for her in the long run. Hopefully, hopefully that did get her rust off. I think it's very weird. The internet community loves Kyrie Sane.
Yeah.
The in-house people don't really have because like she was coming out to her pirate music, throwing like gold coins everywhere.
Yeah.
She just wasn't getting she didn't get like a pop or anything like that.
She definitely
It
gets most of
sucks.
yeah. She definitely gets most of her recognition associated with damage control and an EO.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Asuka, who's not even there. So
Yeah, but yeah, there's not much else to say about this one, unless you have anything on it. Then we can kind of roll to the next part.
feel free to take the next one. I'll just say, you know, I guess we'll be on the lookout for whatever goes on with the breakup of the Judgment Day. I'll just say that I think it's pretty obvious we're heading towards the breakup of the Judgment Day. That should just be
Yeah,
the
yeah. I
the
guess we'll lead into that because we don't have that on the show sheet right now. But that's there was a promo after that later on in the night of the Judgment Day
go
in the
ahead and
back.
say that. Yeah.
Yeah, back of the Judgment Day in the back. All of them are together, and then Liv comes in and is like, what the hell, what happened? And Finn is kind of being like a finger pointer. He's like, Roxanne was just trying to help. Like Roxanne, like actually tried. Raquel didn't actually do anything, like that type of stuff. Like he's
Yeah.
just pointing it at Raquel, and Liv Morgan ended up, siding with Finn Balor. And it's like
Oh, that's
Raquel, you should
right.
have.
That's so right. That was so funny.
He's like
Oh my
Raquel,
god.
you should have. You're the veteran. You should have known better.
My heart
And then that's
dropped.
kind
My
of how.
heart dropped when
Yeah,
she said that. I was like, "Oh no!" And Raquel does
it
such
was
a
a
great
little.
job of acting, of seeming like pretty hurt by that. I was like, "Dude, no
Yeah,
way!" I didn't
yeah.
expect that at all. Holy shit!
And then Liv leaves, and Dom's like, wait, wait, like trying to catch up. So there's obviously a lot of turmoil right now in the Judgment Day, like there was a year ago with Rhea Ripley and everything like that, and Finn Balor. So, and this kind of goes to later in the night too, and I'll get to it after this. But so the next thing that happened was a Lyra Valkyria promo. She
Yeah,
walks out. Basically, Lyra's just saying the same stuff she said about Becky the entire time. Becky then ends up coming out and is like, basically they're challenging each other at Money in the Bank.
yeah,
As we got a clear check mark to we have another women's IC title match at Money in the Bank. And the catch here is, if Becky ends up winning, Lyra has to hold Becky's hand up and saying, "This is your new champion," kind of like how she did in NXT, to Lyra.
yeah. The only
When they
difference, of
did that,
course, is
right?
when they did that, they were both faces, and now it would be a complete show of embarrassment for
Correct.
Lyra to have to do
Correct.
this. So that's
Correct.
and I'll just go ahead and say it. I don't care. I'll just go ahead and say it now. I obviously predicted Becky to win last time, or no, we did it. Didn't we both do that, or maybe no, I did
No,
and
I
you
picked
didn't.
Lyra. I picked Lyra
You
because
picked
I
Lyra.
had her retaining based off of a disqualification.
I will once again just predict that this time and assume that they will give it to her this time. There's no way Lyra just shits on Becky both times. But anyway, we don't even have to say or talk about that yet. I just want to say
Yeah.
that now because I just feel like even the idea that they're just keeping this going tells me that like okay now they're finally going to give Becky the shot to have this belt
Yeah.
and she can be a Grand Slam. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
kind of the bigger deal here. But anyways, I was just gonna say as far as like what or sorry did you was there anything else you kind of wanted to say as
No, the
far as
only thing I was
introducing?
gonna the last thing I was gonna say with that would be, Becky made this weird comment about I have a beautiful husband and you have a weird looking fiance. It was just like, okay, all right, Becky,
Well,
do what you got to
well
do. But
no,
I understand where she's coming from.
she was like, I'm gonna go home to my beautiful husband, and you're gonna go home to your weird looking husband. And Lyra's like, oh, your husband, yeah, the one and only successful thing about you.
Oh
And then
yeah,
and the
yeah, yeah.
crowd
She
was
did
like,
say that.
ooh.
She did say that. Yeah,
Lyra
yeah.
really she really broke out of her shell, and we've talked about this before, but it pretty much is obvious at this point that it is just Becky, and they talk backstage, and she's like, you really have to give it to me. You know what I mean? You have to say
Yeah.
all the insulting things. I'm gonna start being insulting to you. If we bring your husband into it, we'll get it even more emotional. And I think Becky is like pouring her heart and soul into getting her protege essentially over, like super over. And
For sure, yeah.
this is if anything in a funny way, this is like a Ray and Dom Mysterio almost like sense of
Oh,
thing
this is a
where
complete passing of the torch. This is
yeah.
a complete passing of the torch.
So it's I like this promo. I liked them
Dude, it's
talking
good.
shit.
The feud is fantastic. I love it. I absolutely
Makes
love it.
Lyra way
It's the
cooler than
best.
she was. Yeah, everything.
It's the second best thing on Raw right now.
I've
Second best
also,
thing.
since me and you started watching it, we've also not seen a heel Becky Lynch, which is something she's done in her career
Yeah.
before, and she was known
And
for that
people
back in
say
the
that
day.
it didn't work out as much because people want to cheer for Becky, but she's killing it now. She really
She's
is.
doing great. She's doing great, and she's getting people
So
to genuinely cheer for Lyra. It feels like for whatever reason, like we were just talking about earlier, crowds don't always seem to do or understand the right thing to do at these shows, but for whatever reason,
yeah,
with the Lyra and Becky promos, and the matches, all that, they do
Well,
the right
Becky's
thing.
actually really getting it out of the crowd. Like
Oh
Seth
yeah, oh
Rollins
yeah.
doesn't. Seth doesn't like call the crowd idiots or dumb or like make
No,
fun of the city
she's
like
a
the
good
easy heel
mic
stuff.
worker.
She's doing that right now.
Yeah,
She's working it as much as possible.
yeah. Yeah, but other than that, like you said, the whole idea here is just to be, set up that match one more. There's a stipulation that, like you said, Lyra, if she
I do think
loses,
this one, and again, we're not going to get into the predictions, but I do think this is where Bailey comes in.
Oh, that's right, that's right. Yeah,
I
we'll
do
we'll
think.
we'll get to it. That would be interesting. I'll have to think about that
But
before we do our official predictions episode. Maybe there will be some changes. Who knows? But
yeah,
yeah. Other than that, we can move on to, I believe, the last thing, right? If
yeah,
unless you got anything else, no.
no, move right into the last thing.
Cool. So what we had, you want me to do this right? Just before I start
Go ahead.
talking. Yeah, yeah. So
Uh,
this was the setup by the first promo, the Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn versus Finn Balor to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match. So pretty interesting, just given like three pretty big names. Finn is definitely someone you'd think maybe they'd give him a shot to be in Money in the Bank as like a way out of Judgment Day, but obviously that's not the case. He was in this match. It's, obviously with everything being done, there is literally no decision that could possibly be worse than having Seth Rollins like do all this stuff with his group. Right? They won at Saturday Night Main Event. You do the big promo at the start of the show. He announces he's going to be in Money in the Bank qualifying, all for him to lose the match. You know what I mean? Like that would make no sense
yeah,
whatsoever. So Seth had to win this match. It was a 100% guaranteed chance. And that's what happened here. So this was actually really
yeah.
fun in general as far as back and forth between the triple threat. I actually don't know if I'd go as far as saying this was pound for pound, just straight up wrestling wise, a better match than the one we had earlier. I think this one was carried pretty hard by interferences and just what we expected to take place in the main event kind of thing. Like all
Yeah.
these crazy story beats, whatever, the people coming in interfering. But mainly what happened here was that you got, a lot of great spots, a lot of great things, but then it gets to the end where you're kind of getting into your finisher fest. So everyone's trying to hit their finishers on each other,
Yeah.
but things are getting countered, things are getting twisted around, things are getting moved around. Who's going to do what to who to what, and you end up getting this spot where it's basically like, what does it end up being like? Seth pedigrees, I want to say Finn.
Yep.
He goes
Yep.
to do the pin, but it gets broken up by Sammy, who then is trying desperately to set someone up for the Huluva kick, but then that gets messed up where Finn then ends up getting able to coup de grace Sammy, I want to say,
Yep.
but then
Yep.
Seth ends up messing up, or he's trying to mess up Finn, and then I want to say it's Seth that gets Haluva kicked by Sammy in the corner,
Yes.
and then it seems
Yes.
like it might be Sammy versus Finn, but then this is where bullshit from the interference starts to happen.
Yeah.
So it's Bronson and Braun come in to basically assure that this Haluva kick does not allow Sammy to.
Dude, Braun Breaker hates
Yeah,
Sami Zayn, dude.
I know.
He
I
just
know.
loves
He
spearing
kills
his
him.
ass.
He kills him.
It's
But
absolutely loves it.
the thing is, earlier in the show, we actually did get a quick little promo where Jey Uso basically told Sammy, like, hey, I got your back out there if anything goes crazy. And he was
Yep.
just telling the truth. So Jey comes out once Braun and Bronson are out there, and he starts messing them up, right? Jumps off I want to say he jumps off a wall and, like, body slams, or maybe he gets up on the turnbuckle at that point. I can't remember what it is. But he jumps on everybody, super kicks
Yep.
people, all that stuff. But don't forget, this is Finn Balor. This is the Judgment Day. Okay? So Finn Balor's still in the ring. Seth is still in the ring. Jay, Sammy, Braun, Bronson, they're all getting vortexed. I don't know if
Yep.
there's a word for it in WWE when they do this in a match where it's like, okay, all you guys go over there and scrum while the main
You're in your
thing,
own world.
this will happen and take place and you can't stop this. Do anything else to convince the crowd that something important is happening. So that's what those four did. It is now Finn and Seth in the ring. You're like, okay, what's going to happen? Dominic Mysterio comes out. Don't forget about the Judgment Day. He comes out with a chair, and you're like, okay. But Dom, in his ways, I mean, how many times have we seen this exact thing from Dom? He's got the chair, and he doesn't get it to the person that he's trying to help. Dom throws it right in between them. So Finn realizes what's going on. He's like, let me crawl over to the chair because I can't just pick it up because Dominic fucking couldn't just slide it to me. He crawls over, has his head directly above this chair, doesn't immediately get up with it. And so Seth Rollins, the visionary, the revolutionary, the architect, he sees this opportunity. He runs over. You can probably see it in your head right now. He stomps Finn Balor's face into that chair. Devastating. Triple threat, so no DQ. 1, 2, 3. Seth freaking Rollins is in that Money in the Bank. Pretty fun way to write that, right? Like, they didn't just give Seth the win. It didn't just happen because of interference. That was part of it. But it was more of like, again, driving that wedge in the Judgment Day. They were able to tell that story in the result of this match, which did make it more exciting. But again, was this match from beginning to end the greatest thing in the world? Not necessarily. I would say the first and second parts were really not that great. They were kind of not that fun. There was also a lot of commercials at times that I didn't think there needed to be. Whatever. Yeah. But the ending was very fun, and it did push things. So now Seth Rollins is in it. And then, of course, that is not where things end off. Seth wants to, do the thing where the heels do the beating up of the good guys at the end.
Yep.
The crowd starts chanting CM Punk, and that is what they get. So Paul Heyman did lie earlier in the show during their first promo and say, do these people know that CM Punk isn't here tonight, that kind of thing. But he shows up at the end. So that was supposed to be the big, actual show under. He runs in. His music hits. Seth, sends the dogs to the stage, go get him. And it's like, I'm sitting there, like I told you, I was watching with my girlfriend, and I'm sitting there he's gonna come in behind, and then you see, and then you hear the crowd going, oh, like they do the thing where they rise up because they see him running through the crowd, and I'm like, yep, and then they pan over. What happens? CM Punk comes in behind Seth, who is still in the ring, and what does he do? Does he GTSs him? I think, right? He hits.
Yeah, he immediately
kicks him and GTSs him, and then Seth is all fucked up. Braun and Bronson realize it, but now CM Punk has ran into the crowd, up the stairs, and he's standing there with the crowd, like the wrestling Jesus that he is. He was just soaking it all in. So credits roll, show end. That's how Monday Night Raw happened, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler, what do you have to say about that promo? And then once you're done kind of talking about that, you can go ahead and give me your star rating. We can kind of roll them into one big thing.
Yeah, we'll roll into it. Not much to say about it. One comment I will make is that I really do like the Seth Rollins triple threat matches because of the intertwining of the finishers. Like the triple threat with Punk and Roman, where they were doing the spear into the pedigree. He comes up and does the G. It was insane.
Seth's moves are great for it. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so this one was very similar. Like he would pedigree and then get haluva kick.
Yeah.
And then a coup de grace, or then like a coup de grace into a pin, and then Seth comes and stomps on Finn Balor's head or something like that while he's trying to pin. It's just all creative, right? It's super. You just never know what's going to come next with these types of matches, and I really do applaud Seth, and that is why he is one of my favorite wrestlers in today's day and age. He is
the new Triple H, I think. He is.
His matches are just choreographed very, very well. It's just hard to beat. Going into the star rating, I'll give this one because, good job for Raw. This one felt different.
A little different,
This one felt different. It had new things. We had a new member of the new faction. We had, 2 qualifying matches this week for Money in the Bank. And I don't care what it is. Qualifying matches or tournament style matches to me are always going to be cool because you don't know who's going to win. Yes, you can assume who's going to win, but you don't know who's going to win. It's all you get. Normally 9 times out of 10 you get just like 3 great talents in the ring together, like we got with Chad Gable, Penta, and Dragon Lee. Haven't seen Dragon Lee in forever, but we know he puts on good matches, so those are exciting. 5 minutes into that match, into the Dragon Lee match, we were getting, this is awesome, this is all. Because they just have good matches, right? It was a little bit different. More Judgment Day stuff. Liv is back, so we get that now. We get that kind of interaction between everybody, right? So it changed a little bit. Yes, it's some of the similar things. Don't know where Austin Theory and Grayson Waller are. Haven't seen them in a while. Don't know what that's about. But other than that, no. I think, like I said, did I give a star rating? Did I say 3?
No, but that would make sense based off everything you just said.
Yeah, 3 is going to be my star rating because, yes, it does have some of the same bulk stuff, but we did get some extra stuff on top of it.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, Jey Uso kind of ruined it. It really
I was literally about to
It was a
say, I
bad.
actually that Jey Uso promo
It
actually
was really
really
bad.
bothered
It was
me.
really
It
bad.
really
Jey
grinded my
Uso in
gears.
the tag match, the triple threat tag match, those all kind of
Yeah,
ruined it for me. And yeah, we get the new stuff with Rusev and Sheamus too, right? So that's something that's new to us. So, but yeah, those two things right in the middle of the show, the Jey Uso and the New Day stuff were just bottom tier to me.
yeah.
Um, but you go ahead.
I'm
What's your
I'm
rating?
gonna give this a 2.5 because I'm not gonna. I really feel like when you start to really think about it in your head, you're like, okay, what was the mid card of this? And it's like the Tozawa Rusev and the Sheamus thing. I didn't think that was that fun. I don't really care about Sheamus or Rusev, so like
Yeah,
I
the
don't
Morgan
care about
Kyrie thing
that.
wasn't the best.
I didn't
It
think
just moved the
Morgan
storyline a little
Kyrie
bit.
Sane was good. I thought the Jey Uso promo was fucking horrible. I thought that the tag, like you said, the tag team match for a belt was like okay, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't anything crazy. It was okay. And so you add it all up, and you're like, wait a second. The only thing that really made me interested in this Monday Night Raw was the beginning and the end, which of course. And okay, don't let me take away from the first qualifier Money in the Bank match as well. That was also pretty good. But
Yeah,
that's
but that's still
you're
the
talking
beginning. That's
about
the beginning.
right. You're talking about the first promo
First
in the
match,
first
last
match, and then the last match. That's it. That's not great. Okay, and
Yeah,
this was a
yeah,
short
yeah.
show. This was a short show, so it's
It was a
like
short show.
I don't really love that. Now I agree with you, and I think the reason I don't go two is because of the fact that I like the beginning and the end and that thing. And you're right, it wasn't an identical Raw till last week, so in an effort to be different, maybe they were a little worse than normal, and that's fine. I'm not going to sit here and kill them about it. I'm sure they will give me a show where I will give them like a 1.5 one day. I'm not afraid to do that. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
2.5 will be my rating. I really hope they bring it next week. I'll actually just sum it up by saying Jey Uso needs to freaking bring it, man. If you're a Jey
Yeah.
Uso fan, or if you are Jey Uso and you're watching this,
Yeah, your
suck
time
it,
is
man.
numbered, my friend.
Suck it, okay? You need to be better. I don't care. And if you're a fan, you need to tell them to be better. I don't give a shit. No, I'm fine.
Hey,
But yeah,
your days are numbered, Jay. So unfortunately, it really
I
is.
agree. I do agree.
Unfortunately,
Your days with that belt are numbered, my friend. You need
because you'll
to.
still get the cheers and everything. You'll still get the yeets and everything when you're not a champion.
That's the funny thing.
Um,
I don't know. I don't know. You never know. You know. We'll
no, I
see.
think he'll get the yeets because like it's just he won't be going after a title. That's the only thing.
Hey,
I think he'll still get the because Pat will always get
they'll
the
hype
crowd
it. You're
jumping
right.
and
You're
stuff,
right.
right? So but it's just we see now he doesn't need to be.
Just not
He
right now.
doesn't need to be a title holder.
I think they need to just
Unfortunately.
give it back to my boy Gunta, and then we go from there. Let the Money in the Bank winner cash it on
Give
him,
it to my boy Seth Rollins.
or Seth Rollins. Well, I
Actually, no.
guess.
I want Seth to win the Money in the Bank and freaking cash in on John Cena. I really want
Okay,
that.
okay.
I really
Well,
want
I
it.
mean, look, so we just gave our ratings. We can kind of move on from Raw and go into our first, like, we'll actually talk about, given who is already in the Money in the Bank for both men and women, we'll talk now about who we might think also gets in there. Now, I'll go ahead and go over who is in it right now. So for the men, it would be Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Penta, and Seth Rollins. That's four. What is it, 6, right? Or is it 8? 6. And then for the women, you have 4 as well: Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, and Julia. So we do know one match. So it would be Jacob Fatu versus what is it? It's like 2 other big
Carmelo
dudes:
Hayes, Jacob
Carmelo
Fatu, Carmelo Hayes, and
and Mello, and it's someone
somebody
else
else.
that's definitely not
Somebody
going
else.
to win it. So I think we could even just right now. Who do you think they're going to put in that match? Because I think that's like a really big question: Mello or Jacob Fatu.
They
Knowing that
put
Jacob
in
has the United States Championship belt, you know what I mean? Like
they put Braun Breaker in it last year.
that's true. That's true.
So and he was the IC title holder. So I mean I can see them putting Jacob in there. I want Mello because they need Mello to do something. I just don't think the only way Mello gets in is if Jeff Cobb or JC Mateo and
Like
Solo,
interferes and all that shit.
intervene and they kind of get distracted. Um. So yeah, I'm gonna do a bold prediction. I'm gonna say Mello
Yeah.
just because I want Mello.
I'm actually on the same side as you, and
Yeah.
I'm very tempted to say that he's one of my favorites to win it all. And I think that the thing that's supercharging him right now that is just not very talked about is The Miz. So I think that they are going to keep using The Miz as a means to kind of just be like, yeah, Melo wins this match, and it's because The Miz is constantly helping him, that kind of thing. So I do think Melo wins. I don't think Jacob needs to be in that, and I think it would make more sense if Jacob isn't in it, and then something about him and JC that ends up being the reason that Solo doesn't win the Money in the Bank. Something
Just give
about
Jacob
it.
a match for the title for his title at the
That might
Money
end
in
up
the Bank.
being
That's
what it
what he'll
is,
do.
right? That might end up being what it is. Yeah. So let's just say it's Mello. So that'd be Mello would be the fifth. I guess. Do we not have a match right now designed for that sixth member? Or are we?
We do not, but my sneaky last minute person that could get in would be Karrion Cross.
Okay, I see exactly where you're getting at because like all this hype and then he was on a promo this past on Monday Night Raw. He like very briefly ran into what was it, Sammy? I think, or Jay, maybe. It was like they run this promo a million times, but the point is he got a big pop and he keeps getting big pops, and I'll be the first person to say like I have never been the biggest Karrion Cross fan, and I'm impressed with how quickly he has gathered a fan base, truly like
I love
like
it.
a passionate fan base around his act, around his character, without really any matches at all. He's just fucking talking, and he's like finding a way to get onto a random interview radio show back in WrestleMania season and just talk, and people listened. You know
Oh,
what I
that's
mean?
someone who can cut a freaking really good
Oh
promo.
yeah,
Like Karrion
that's
Cross can't.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
He's
like
he's taking his time, dude. He's taking his 20 seconds, his 30 seconds, and just making the most
he's
out
going.
of it. And it's yeah.
I'm right there
So
with you. If they announce that he's in a qualifying match, I would be willing to say that that's my favorite to win that match. I'm more trying to think who is someone else that could be that they would be like, well, maybe they give that person. I don't even know. I'm trying to think like maybe
I would think it
Austin
would be someone on
Theory,
Raw, right? I think it would be someone on Raw.
someone on Raw. You're right because what do we have already? LA Knight, Solo. No.
LA Knight
And, oh, I see what
Solo,
you're saying, and then it would be Mello potentially. So it'd have to be someone
Melo,
from
and
Raw.
then it's Penta, Seth Rollins, and then whoever on
Hmm.
Raw, right?
Who
So
has not been in a match yet? Because
I
we
mean,
just
it could
had
be like they could do a match with Sheamus, Rusev, and Karrion Cross, and Sheamus
True.
screws over somebody or whatever it is, right? And they could do something like that. Um,
How about yeah,
but
I really do like that because you're right. Karrion Cross is on Raw.
yeah,
I don't know who else that hasn't already lost a qualifying match that would make sense to put in there.
AJ get into a qualifying match?
Ah, that's such a good question. It would have only been no because the only two Raw qualifying matches were just this yesterday or Monday Night Raw. Yeah, right. I
For
don't
the
think that
men?
for the
Yeah,
Raw
you're right.
men.
Yeah, you're,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. You're right. You're
So
right.
AJ, I think you're right, and maybe I
They could
mean
do Theory or Waller. They could do one of those guys, or even
maybe.
Dom. They
I
could
was
do
I
Dom
was just
too.
about to say maybe Dom is the one, and then the
Yep.
true breakup of the Judgment Day is Finn actually just finally on screen, just screwing Dom in front of the world, that kind of thing. You never know, right?
Yeah.
I would okay then I'll say that I think my two favorites because it's hard for me to pick because I just we don't know the match yet. My two favorites for the last person, if it's not other than Mello or Jacob, whatever, would be yeah Dom or Karrion Cross. I think those are really, really great options, and I don't know who else would make sense, honestly.
No,
Like,
I
I
think those
guess
are the only
Sheamus
two.
or Rusev. I
No,
guess
not either of those two. Like
maybe.
AJ would be my honorable mention in that
Like
circumstance.
my guess would be maybe they were trying to see if Rusev would get a big enough like reception on his return that people would want to star rocket ship him into
Yeah.
this. But no, that hasn't happened. So I really don't think that's going to be the case. I think you're setting up. I think you're completely right. Like it'll be Sheamus and Rusev in that match, and then a third person, and I think that third person wins. I'll say this right now: if it ends up being Sheamus, I'd be really disappointed. I just don't think should
That's
be
not
anywhere.
Sheamus.
He shouldn't be anywhere near this match because he's just obviously not going to win it. So. Um, yeah, so okay, let's just pretend it's Karrion Cross. Because we're still a week out, and I only want to do it for this match because the match is so important. Who would you say right now? You not who you want to win, just who you think will win based off Triple H in the WWE. Just for the sake of like people watching, and they might want to know like what's coming up, that kind of thing. Like who do you think? Because I know you want
If
Seth.
we're
That makes
saying,
sense, but
I mean, even like we're saying what Mello is in there and Karrion
Mello
Cross,
and then
right?
Karrion Cross would be the people. You could even pretend if you think it would be Jacob Fatu if he was in there, you could just say that. It's like whatever you kind of theorize from what we know right now.
It's a coin flip between LA Knight and Seth Rollins.
I
It
think you're
has to
absolutely
be.
right. I think you're
It has to be.
1,000% correct. Now,
It
this
has
is
to be
what
a
would throw a
complete
wrench
coin
in
flip.
that equation for me. I already just said my reasoning, so I'm not going to go back through that again. But I really do think there is a Jey Uso like stealth rocket ship on the back of Carmelo Hayes right now. I do think,
I agree.
I'm saying this as the guy who did predict, like, if I had to pick someone who I think will win the Royal Rumble, I actually did believe Jey would win the Royal Rumble, and I'm still upset we didn't have this show
Yeah, you're
back
one
when
of the only ones, brother.
I
You
literally
are
I
one of
know.
the only
Trust me,
ones.
I was like I felt it in that promo. Speaking of the
I think
ones
James said it too, didn't he? Or did
well,
James say
me and
Cena?
him. So no, James said Cena. It was me and him. We had a discussion, and that's where that he
Yeah.
was the first. He was the only person I actually was able to vocalize it to. I was like, dude, I swear that promo they ran with him where he said, "Gunther, I'm coming for you." That to me, that just feels like that's a nut. Like that's it. That's the guy right
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what it was that they wanted him to beat Gunther. What I'm getting at is, yeah, I do feel like that's the same. That's the same exact vibe I'm getting from Mello right now. I really feel it in my bones. And again,
It's where it's
Seth
like super subtle, super soft, but then
very
it can
just
explode
so
at any, it can
obvious
explode
and
at any moment.
exactly
Yeah.
and it makes so much sense and it's hidden and not thought about just enough where no one's like not everybody and their mother is going yeah that guy of course, but they're giving him the time in the sun to really maybe show people that it's going to be him. Now, if it's not him, I'm right there with you. I would actually go, if I had to choose between the two of them, and it's not Mello, right? We don't even know if he'll be in the match, but I actually think my favorite would otherwise be LA Knight. I do think this is not the place where Seth makes this group's dreams come true. I think Seth holding the Money in the Bank is a little weird. I don't know if that makes sense. Like that just feels a little weird to me.
I think
I
I think
don't know.
Seth has a better chance at winning the what's the King of the Ring. I
Something
feel
like
like Seth
that.
has a
Something
better
like
chance at
that,
winning King
or
of the Ring and
just
then getting a title chance at SummerSlam
yeah.
and doing it that way, right? But yeah, something like LA Knight or Mello winning Money in the Bank is a lot more, I guess, realistic in my eyes too. I agree with you. So yeah, I totally agree with you that Seth winning this seems a little like I guess too much in
Too
my opinion.
much, too much, too
Yeah.
quick, and then. But then part of me does think that Paul Heyman himself is like, you know what would really make this group awesome is if we had the Money in the Bank on our back, which the Bloodline, that was not something they ever messed around with, which Paul
I
might
agree.
like that idea of like, well, I would love to do
But it's
promos.
also it also again shows like Seth is the most dangerous.
Yes.
That's what they say,
That
right?
I like
The
that
Money in
idea,
the Bank,
yeah.
the Money in the Bank is the most dangerous thing in the entirety of the WWE, and who is trying to be the forefront of this new wave of the industry. Seth
Yeah.
Rollins. He wants to be the dangerous person in the WWE, right? So it would make total and complete sense. But I agree. It just depends on how you feel. Is it going to be too fast, too quick? Is he going to cash in immediately? Is he going to cash in 6 months? Like what is that going to be?
So
Right?
all I would want you to think about, really, you especially, but even the fans out there, like, I mean, just imagine how great the promos are going to be with Paul, especially like how he can talk about and just cut like an interesting promo
It'll be good.
when they're talking about the threat they pose, because it's like we could come after any of y'all anytime. Doesn't matter who the champ. You know what I mean? Like those promos will be just as fun as when they actually have the belt. So I think that's a really like cool angle to give Paul Heyman, to give that group. Blah 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 and all that. But I still, for now, unless there's some beat that we get over the next 2 weeks, so being SmackDown, Raw, and SmackDown again, I just feel like it's too soon. Like we just said, a little too soon. I just think there's a couple guys that their opportunity feels a little better right now, and
Let it boil a little bit.
they would be made more complete with a Money in the Bank being LA Knight or Mello, versus where Seth, that's not a completely necessary piece for what I already think is the most interesting faction in WWE right now. Don't care. Ask your mother, ask your grandmother. I don't care. It's not the Judgment Day. It's not Bloodline.
This might be one of the best factions like of all time, in my opinion.
Well, we need to watch it for. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on the potential, of course. Like, of course,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like, Seth is amazing. Paul Heyman is obviously amazing. Braun and fucking Bronson have the whole fucking world
Braun
ahead
Breaker
of them.
is one
Like,
of the
Braun is
one of the most
amazing.
electrifying stars to come up since like a Batista
Yeah.
or a Triple H or something like that, right? So
There's still a
it's
chance that
ridiculous.
like Becky Lynch joins this group or something crazy like that too. You just
Yeah,
never
that'd be
know.
wild.
There
That'd be
is
so
there is a
crazy.
chance, or maybe Rhea turns heel and joins this group. You just never know. You know what I mean? Like, but that's all I really have to say. I think my favorites right now to win, like I said, are LA Knight or or Melo if he wins and actually gets in, and Seth would not be a surprise. I will just go ahead and say right now, Solo winning just feels like an absolute no chance. I wouldn't like if they do it. I'm not gonna be mad. Honestly, I'd be like, holy shit! Like I wasn't expecting that at all, right? But I just don't see that being a thing. And whoever the super duper mystery last person is, because we don't even know that, we truly don't know the match. I don't think that person, whoever that is, ends up. I don't know who else could even be put in that's such a big deal that it's like, of course. You know what? Again, I guess they could be crazy and be like, well, CM Punk is in it, or fucking, you know what I mean? They could go really crazy now. Hold on now. They could get really crazy, and like an Ilya Dragunov return could happen, and Ilya just pops up in a week.
It'd be cool.
Something like that. I don't know, but
yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got on that. Unless you got something else to say on the men's, we can head on over to the women and what we got there.
No, the only thing I would say would be like,
yeah,
just to give the audience like my personal preference.
Yeah,
my personal preference for WWE. For Money in the Bank specifically, give it to young superstars.
Yeah.
Give it to up and coming
superstars.
Because it's just something that can. Yes, it can hurt them like it did Austin Theory. I get that, but also you shouldn't have made Austin Theory cash in.
You know what? Like the money in that's like
on the United States Championship.
He did. He cashed in on the United States Championship. That's why I ruined it.
Why would you even do that?
That's why you ruined it. Why? No. I was just about to say that's like a guns don't kill people whatever argument where it's like, you know who messed that up? It wasn't the damn Money in the Bank. It was fucking Vince McMahon. It wasn't the Money in the Bank. It's like it should be a 100% guaranteed cool thing for whoever wins it. It should always be that way. It should never be. And I'll be honest with you right now, Tyler. If they do the same damn thing as they did with Drew, where it's a quick cash in, win or not, I'm going to be pissed. Please don't do this again where the men just lose the allure of the Money in the Bank immediately, bro. Like, that's so boring. Yeah, that's so incredibly boring. It was only... Look how much Tiffany's entire career was made off the Money in the Bank. Dude, why would you not... And, like, it's funny, you just said, like, a young guy should get it.
Career basically was based off of the Money in the Bank.
Literally. That whole year was, like, all defined by him being that. And I was going to say, like, you were just saying, like, well, young, like, up-and-coming people should get it. Drew getting it and doing that, what a waste. That whole thing with him and the CM Punk promo, that was unneeded. We already believed that they hated each other. We already believed that it was bad. Let me ask you this, Tyler. It only happened a few months ago. Do people think back on that rivalry as like something legendary? Not really. Like, it was fun as fuck, and the Hell in a Cell was cool, but the rivalry was not like, do you remember when Drew lost the Money in the Bank? I'm like, oh, that's right. That was stupid. You know what I mean? Like, that's right. I don't want to remember that. That's
dumb.
Exactly. So it's like, I really, really hope whether it's LA, whether it's Melo, I want them to build a little bit of persona around it. Take a couple months at least, and then cash it in. Cash it in at fucking Royal Rumble. Or cash
it in. You have a pot of gold, WWE. Yes, give the pot of gold to somebody to make you more money. Make you more money. Bring a superstar out of it. Like, again, whatever.
But
nothing much more on that. We can move on to the women's one.
So,
go ahead.
I was going to say, so the women we know at the moment are Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, and Julia. I don't know if you have it pulled up right now. Do we know of a set women's match the way we did for Melo, Fatu, and whoever it was, or no?
We don't. But I'm gonna let you know right now, brother. Based off of what happened last night, so it's a good thing we're kind of doing this show today instead of yesterday.
Sure, yeah.
Based on what happened last night, Stephanie Vaquer ended up losing the WWE NXT Women's Championship, and she is now headed to the Raw roster, and Jordan Grace is now headed to the SmackDown roster. So there's our two members.
You think so? Okay.
Easily.
Well, I love it. Let's just pretend those are the two. I don't feel like taking a lot of time theorizing over, because I don't really even know. I can't remember who already lost out of the other. What would that be?
Like, they're not putting Chelsea in there because she just lost.
Yeah, it's not going to be Michin. It's not going to.
They're not going to do any of those other Michin or anything like that. Lyra and Becky are taken care of right now, so you can't put them in there.
Tiffany,
Bailey's technically hurt.
Bailey, Nia, Jade, like all these people. No, you can't do any of them. It's like, it's.
Actually, let me.
Or can Jade be in a match?
You could put like Naomi or Jade in this.
Have they been in one yet? Was Jade in one at least, or no? Am I or was Naomi?
Jade has not been in one yet.
Okay, then I would actually be willing to say I actually probably.
Yeah,
would.
You could definitely.
I would be more willing to say it will be Jade.
Actually, I think we do have a qualifying match coming up right now, and it's. I think it's Jade, Naomi, and Nia for a qualifying
You're
match.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
You're
I think it
totally
is.
right.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
totally right. Okay, so obviously we should pick between one of those three. Who do you
Stephanie's on
think?
the Raw roster though. Stephanie's making
So
that
Stephanie, that's what I was
run.
gonna say. I think
Yeah.
Stephanie definitely does get that one. That I would want
Um,
that personally.
I
I would
I
want that.
think for the other one, for the other triple threat that we got announced, which is obviously crazy, by the way, having all three of these people, your
No, this is
three
an
main
insane
event
match.
stars in one match right now
This is
for a
wild.
qualifying match. I gotta go Naomi. I got to. I got to.
Yeah, I think that makes the absolute most sense. She's been in a few already too, right? Like she was in like I think she was one of those girls that was in the very first one, wasn't she? Or maybe I'm wrong on that, but
She probably was. She probably was.
something like that. I just know
Actually, I do know that for a fact
I feel
because
like I've seen her in a ton of highlights and all that. Yeah.
in the WWE the like
What, the video game?
storyline, the
Yeah.
showcase or whatever, you do a
They,
match like because it's all the bloodline stuff. You do a match with Naomi
because she's
in the Money in the Bank.
right. Okay. So yeah, let's just say now then okay, we're talking about Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Julia, Naomi, and Stephanie Vaquer. Those will be our 6 women. Of those 6 women, who not who you want, but who do you think they would pick to win? That's hard. All right, y'all. That's a fucking hard. I think you could easily make the case for any one of them. Like you know what I mean?
Okay, so I'll give you both. I'll give you who I want. I want Roxanne Perez.
Okay.
Who I think is going to win is Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, that's so funny because I also
Because
think
especially in the promo this past Monday where she
Rhea.
mentioned "mommy in the bank,"
That's too easy. Yeah.
they're gonna capitalize.
I think
on
it is also a
They're going
way.
to.
I think it's kind of now or never for someone like her because she's still so young. But obviously, she is like
Yeah, she hasn't won. She hasn't won.
she hasn't won it yet.
That's like
So
one of the only things
you
she
can
hasn't
give it
done
to
yet.
her. She can win it now, and that's a pretty like how do I put this? That's an easy way to have her take a belt from someone without needing her to like
And you want to be real? I think
squash
she
them.
cashes in on Tiffy.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So you wouldn't want Rhea to have a legit feud with Tiffany where she kind of just shits on her, you know, because that's what you would probably the story
Yep.
you'd have to tell for now. You can
Yep.
do down the line where you start to truly bring Tiffany, you know, let's say her overall up if we're doing a 2K reference, but like
Yeah.
while you slowly do that, yes, you could eventually have her truly beef with Rhea, but this is not the time. This is not the time. So Rhea, it's a great angle. You're right. I think it's a great angle actually for her to be like, yes, she's super dominant. Yes, she's the strongest woman in wrestling, and she just won Money in the Bank. Fuck it, you know, like and like you said, from that point, you could have her cash in on anybody. It makes sense. Does no one would disagree with it? It's a quick and easy. Don't even think about it. You lose your belt, give it to Rhea, and then they run her newest title run. She's just someone that pretty much should be having a title run every so often and just be the champ. I think it just makes perfect sense. You know that's
Yeah.
just how she is. She's like she's like a Randy Orton type. She's like a Rey Mysterio, Batista type. Like maybe not
Yep.
the literal number one person, but it doesn't really matter. She might actually be the number one person. I just didn't want to call her John Cena. That's basically what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I guess for me it would be Roxanne would be like the person I would want to win. Like I said, Rhea is like my 75% sure. Naomi's my 25% sure. If Naomi's in the match.
I'll say this: if Jade Cargill wins that qualifier and is in the match, I think she shoots up immediately to like it's either her or Rhea. That's how I would think of it. I think
In my opinion, I think it's opposite.
if
I
they
think if
put her in
Jade,
it,
I think if Jade's in it,
Fair
I don't
enough.
think she has a chance at winning. Not that she's like not super uber
no,
talented
of
or
course,
anything like that.
You're just saying
Or
based
even
off
like,
how they would operate.
but just
Yeah.
how Naomi is right now.
Oh,
as
I
a,
see what
like,
you're saying.
winning-
Yeah.
like
She
one of
wouldn't
the
let her
best
win.
heels.
She wouldn't let her win. Yeah.
No, not even that. It's just more of like that. Yes, that could probably happen, but Naomi is a both of them are faces right now. Io Sky and Tiffany Stratton.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Having another face in there at Jade, Rhea can win at any time because she can click back into and just say, like, she's obviously the biggest, most popular over woman on the roster. She can win at any time. She's the John Cena. Like
You know who
like
she's?
said, you don't
She's
wanna
like.
say.
I would actually say she's like Stone Cold, where Stone Cold was
Yes.
he transcended
Yes.
being a face or heel, and that if you were in his sights, he just kind of clobbered
Yes.
you, and it's like okay.
You are exactly
Yeah.
correct. That is exactly yes. But Jade, she's not that
Yeah,
yet. She's,
I see what you're saying. I absolutely see what you're saying. Like they would have to
she's
turn
not-
her
we
heel
don't, we
almost.
don't know
They-
that side. Yeah, we don't know that side of her yet. We don't
Yeah.
know the evil / like serious side of her yet. And I just think Naomi, obviously we see that, and she is a heel. She is that, person
Yeah.
that, it would be scary with a Money in the Bank briefcase. So yeah, I think it's opposite. I think if Naomi's in the match, again, she's like that 25, 30 to 35% chance of winning. If Jade's in the match, I don't really see her winning the match at all. I just think just she's there to put on a good show and put on some cool like heavy lifting spots, right?
Yeah.
But I don't see her winning the match. But yeah, that's my take on the whole thing.
Okay. Okay. No, but I like it. I think we're throwing a lot of good things out there. I guess I don't know if I actually said it, but like my person who at the moment, given who we predict who might be in it and who's already in it, the person I think will win, just if I had to guess, um, oh man, that's so hard. Roxanne makes so much sense, but no, I think the Judgment Day stuff with Roxanne all of a sudden just puts her in a such different direction at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. That's yeah.
I think if anything, you can expect Liv or Raquel to like mess it up for Roxanne. That kind of
Yeah,
feels
I
like
can see that
what we're
too.
building towards with that. So if Roxanne's tied up in the Judgment Day and the Judgment Day is supposed to collapse, it doesn't make sense that Roxanne would win anything important anytime right now. So um, I do think the winner is Rhea Ripley. Like I would love it if it's Alexa
I
Bliss. I'd
can't
love it
see
if it's
anybody else.
Julia. I'd love it if it's Stephanie Baker. I'd love it if it's Naomi. I'd love it if it's Jade. Any of them. But I think Rhea, there's no one really like in a rivalry with her right now who would come in and mess it up. Like it just kind of makes sense, and
Yeah.
people love the shit out of her. So like it's more like this. Let me ask you this. Let's say Rhea doesn't win this. Like what the fuck does she do then? Like she's so far
That's
away.
that's kind of what I was gonna get at,
She's
right?
so
So it's
far
like
away from the Judgment Day. Like it's been so
yeah,
long, and that's still her
this
character. It's the
gives
same exact
this
character.
gives Rhea a
A
reason to be
thing.
on television,
Yeah.
a reason to be on television, and a reason for the WWE universe to have a pop, right? Um, and
I
it gives them the reason to just have Rhea Ripley's music hit.
yeah.
Rhea Ripley's coming out
Come
with the
out to the
Money in the Bank
people, yeah.
briefcase.
And it's been
Like,
such a long
oh my
period of her
God.
barely being around, which I'd have to assume was kind of like design,
Yeah,
like by design for her to have some vacation
it
time
is. It is.
to get into better shape, maybe if she needed it. I have no idea. You know what I mean? You never know what the backstage is, but she has just simply not been on TV a lot, really at all. So you would think, yeah, let's get her back on TV. You have the first few months where she's just holding the fucking thing, and then you have
Because she doesn't have matches. She
no,
really
she
doesn't have
doesn't.
any matches. So
Like,
again, this is a way to get her on television.
yeah,
That's it. It's a way to get her on television. Have her come off in the back. It's like, I got this. I
yep.
can go on any show at any
You can do
time.
whatever you
I have
want
this.
with
And
Money
it
in the
gets her to
Bank.
go on SmackDown too. It really
That's true.
does.
That's a great
So
point.
it's like she gets both brand recognition now,
That's
right?
an
So
excellent point. I didn't even really think about that. Like you just become the person that
yep,
everyone cares about. So yeah, that'd be
yep.
really cool. I like it. So we can kind of move into the next part of this topic, which would just be like, what do you think about the build up to Money in the Bank? Or we could kind of we don't. I would say we should stay away from giving our official predictions right now, but like
Oh, I'm not
just
gonna
kind
give
of
a
talk
prediction.
about
Yeah.
I just generally mean more like the matches that they've definitely just announced. So that would be Logan and John versus returning Cody Rhodes and Jay, and
Yeah.
then now we have Lyra versus Becky, and
Obviously, the
I can't.
possible Money in the
So
Bank
so
matches.
I guess it is what I was saying before. I guess Gunter and Jay is supposed to be after, isn't it? It's supposed to be after Money in the Bank. It is not during Money in the Bank. I don't think it is.
I
Or,
thought it was
or
supposed to be.
I think it would be on here by
I
now.
thought
You
it
know
was
what I mean?
supposed to be before. No,
Or
I know it's
before
not
or
supposed to be
before.
at.
So
Yeah, I
then
think it's supposed to be
wait.
before
So then
Money.
is it going to be next Monday? Like is it going to be next Monday? The Jay and Gunter thing? You see what I'm saying? It's only next
It
Monday
could
Night
be
Raw and then it's Money in the Bank. So
Monday
I
night
believe, unless I'm way off on
Raw
that.
Phoenix because it's in Phoenix. Uh, uh, obviously we can cut this out.
Never. But yeah,
Monday, June 9th. So no, it's the Monday after.
right
It's the
after.
Monday after. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really fucking interesting because then that obviously opens up this conversation that it doesn't even matter who wins. Like, Money in the Bank could just cash in right there and then and remove us from this J era entirely, finally.
Dude,
Do you see what I'm saying? So now it's
dude.
like, so there's that. So there's that. Okay, so Gunter and Jay I'll consider this a
And that would
part
be
of it.
perfect because they don't want Gunther to lose.
They don't want Gunter to lose, and they probably don't want him to hold it right now, just because I think people
Oh
would get a
shit.
little. I think people would get a little like annoyed if Gunter was like just the champ, if that makes sense right now. So I think
Yeah, that'd be
I low key
crazy.
think Jay. Ooh. Oh my God! So now I'm like, is Jay or Gunter gonna win? Because that's like a big deal. You see what I'm saying? Like it does.
What?
Whether or not they even get cashed in on, it's like, are they gonna let Jay beat Gunter to then get
I thought
cashed in
this was
on?
before.
Nope. So it's going to be that very next day. You
Mm.
think they're going to come out of Money in the Bank and have a title match and not make people feel like they're going to cash in right there and then that
This
day?
would be
But now
cool.
that's
This
pissing
would
me
be
off because I'm
cool.
like, what are they going to fucking? Nah, you know what? You know what? They must. They probably are going to do a pump fake or something. I swear they must.
If it's Seth, dude, he doesn't need to hold it for that.
That's right. I mean, that's
If Seth
true.
is winning, he doesn't need to hold it until Romania. It's just he does. Somebody else, then maybe yeah, but
That'll be interesting. Okay,
yeah.
so there's that match, the ones I just laid out, and then whatever else might come up. Like, what do you just generally feel about this coming up being the next major pay per view, and honestly one of my favorite pay per views. Like I think a lot of wrestling
Oh, it's
fans
mine
feel that
too.
way.
It's definitely
Exactly.
one of my favorite.
Do you feel
Um,
satisfied right now, or are you feeling like this is kind of lame? I don't know. What do you think?
I think the people in the matches are really good,
Yeah,
especially if they go with
I
the
agree with
people that
that.
if they go with the people that are
We were
that we
saying,
predicted,
yeah,
like Stephanie Vacher, Naomi,
that'd be peak. That would be peak.
Mello, and
Mello
Karen.
and
Like I think
Carrion.
that yeah, all that would be amazing. Um, so yeah, right now those matches are they're just exciting regardless, right? I'm just gonna watch them because I love ladder matches. It's probably my favorite stipulation match, probably hand in hand with the steel cage match. I'll be like Jesse Ventura and be like I want people to go over the cage. I don't want people to get pinned or anything. So yeah, if that's the case, then yes, I love the TLC
Jesse
matches.
Ventura. Oh,
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
But it's the other matches. I mean, it's just we're getting a. Did it happen at WrestleMania? No, it happened at Backlash. We're getting a Backlash rerun of Becky and Lyra,
Yeah, like we've
and
already
then
seen it, but could
you
be
know
better.
Cody's back. So Cody's back. I don't
That's
know how I
true.
feel about. I don't know how I feel about
Him being back or this match?
the tag match
Yeah.
in per se. But I think it'll be interesting. You know, we've seen Cody and Jay before. Obviously, they were tag team partners a couple years ago. But John Cena and Logan Paul, that is I love the way that they're going with it though. I love how John Cena like brought it up and was like, what if a YouTuber had
His
the
weird
title?
villain voice.
That would ruin
He's like,
wrestling, wouldn't it?
man, wouldn't it be horrible if right before I left, the other belt was lost to a YouTuber? That really sounds like it would ruin
Yeah.
wrestling. And I remember when we were watching it, I go ruin wrestling. I'm like it was
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
so good. And then he came, and then it happens. But it did feel a little weirdly forced. Like they announced it literally right there and then at Saturday Night Main Event. Like as Cody fucking came back, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I guess this is happening. Like
Yeah, right.
we haven't even seen John and Logan agree to be tag partners, which I assume that's coming up on Friday, like in 2 days. So
Yeah, they'll
um,
say something about it, right?
I
So
am really excited
I'll give it a thumbs up for me. Like I
for
think I
general,
think it's
yeah,
good.
thumbs up or down. Or
Yeah,
you're going up. I like that idea.
yeah,
We'll do thumbs up or down for things like this because I'm not going to give it like a rating. That'd be kind of ridiculous.
yeah,
But
yeah. No.
I also give it a thumbs up. I haven't seen a whole lot of hate from people, but I've like heard rumblings of people just being haters
Well, people just love to
in the
hate,
internet
right?
wrestling
So
community, right? I just don't think it's deserved. I really don't. I think really more where the hate comes from is what me and you have been saying on this show, which is that the weekly shows have been feeling repetitive and that kind of thing. The actual pay-per-view itself seems like it's gearing up to be pretty fun. And we don't even
yeah.
know all the matches yet. There's still a chance that they bring on some style of like a I'm not saying it would be these two. I hope it's not these two. Something that's similar to like the Damien Drew steel cage match. Like, oh, let's get something
Something like
crazy
that.
like that in
I'm
there.
sure we'll probably get like if it gets built up enough, I'm sure we'll get like a Sheamus Rusev
Exactly, like something like
at this,
that,
right?
where maybe it's like Extreme Rules. Just bring a little
Or
excitement.
if Mello doesn't win, we'll get a Mello versus
Yeah.
Aleister Black, like
Then
those type of
again,
things, right?
I'm saying that, but then I'm like, Money in the Bank is pretty traditionally extreme, so maybe not necessarily a match like that, but just an extra big deal match. Man, I'm trying to theorize what that could be now. Like what rivalries are they building?
I think we'll get a title match of either Jacob Fatu and somebody or Dom and somebody. I think we'll get that. Sure.
That would have to be the case, right? Like how could they
That
not?
or actually no, I'm dumb. It's going to be a tag match. It's going to be a tag title match for the with the Street Profits and like Fraxium or something like that.
That's actually
because based off of what just happened, or even the
that's
Wyatt
true.
Six, because of all that stuff that
Yeah,
just happened.
I could see a three-way tag match between the two people the Wyatt Six pick, and then or maybe they go crazy and they do Street Profits and Fraxium versus the Wyatt Six is just more of a for fun match. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just like a big, that'd be cool.
And the idea
I
here
can see
is
it.
Fraxium and Street Profits. They've been getting friendly as we've seen. Like even though the Street Profits are a little more heelish, but they've been friendly.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if it's more of like a man. Those guys screwed us over. You know what we should do? We should team up, beat their ass. That'd be fun. Um, but nah, I don't know. I give it a thumbs up. I agree with you. We can move on to our last little topic now that we have for the episode, which would be in general. Tyler, do you feel like the WWE has too many, or the right amount, or not enough PLEs throughout the year? So we can. I would just say we should just date back a year from today. So from around May of last year to now, do you feel like too many, right enough, or not enough PLEs?
Yeah, we kind of talked about it a little bit in the last episode towards
Mm-hmm.
the end.
We
Um,
did with the boys. With the boys.
it's a lot. It's a lot of feelings.
What?
It's a lot. There's multiple in the same month. I get that they're not doing house shows anymore, so that helps with their schedule, and they want to be able to put out more stuff for
Yeah.
us. The only problem with stuff like that is we get a PLE that could probably be cool, or something like on a random Saturday, and maybe it's not Saturday night's main event, but like Worlds Collide, we get that 3 or 4 hours before Money in the Bank, and it's like we're gonna miss it. I'm not gonna watch it because I'm not spending 8 hours of my day watching wrestling. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
I have other stuff that I'm doing, right? So it's not going to get the attention that it deserves. It's not going to get the storylines. I'm not saying Worlds Collide in general. I'm just saying, like, we got Money in the Bank on June 7th. Like, look at this. We have Worlds Collide June 7th. We have Money in the Bank June 7th. We have Night of Champions June 28th. And then right after that, we have,
Yeah.
and then we have Saturday night's main event on July 12th. And there's
Yeah,
NXT.
I
NXT
think
matters, but doesn't really
I think
matter.
there's a very clear culprit here to what the feeling you're describing is, and that is the Saturday Night Main Event push of what they're doing, and I think there's a
Well,
very
you have WWE Evolution, which is the
right. That's right. I
all
forgot about
women's
that.
one.
All women's one. Yeah,
that's July 13th.
that's the
day
same
after
idea.
Saturday
That's the
Night's
same
main event.
idea. These not necessarily PLEs, but they are right. Where
Yeah.
the idea is that yes, things are taking place. Is something important going to happen? More than likely not. But as a wrestling fan, you probably should watch it because you just never know. And I'm pretty sure we did get something crazy that happened on a Saturday. Wasn't it Rhea lost her belt on a Saturday Night Main Event? And we were like, what the fuck? Like, how the fuck did that?
No, on a main event, no, nothing happened crazy. Like the past, like
Nothing
2 or
at
3
all?
Saturday
Damn.
Night main events.
I
That's
thought
why everybody was
something,
saying,
one thing happened. Because you're right. Everything else is normally completely pointless. You know for a fact that they're
everything
not
has
going
just
to.
been
Yeah.
a snooze fest for these. And
Ay,
then
ay, ay.
this past Saturday was the first one that had like any sorts of storyline movers.
Right. Everything with Seth and all them happening was pretty big. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So yeah,
So
it's just and what I was going to get at the larger point is that the reason they're doing this and this I know this to be the case. I mean, I don't even need proof. Like I already know that this has to be fact. Is that they're trying to not just compete but keep a clear and obvious like marginal edge over AEW. This is the
oh
point.
yeah, for sure.
AEW is making crazy strides in the viewership numbers. They're doing it in ways that aren't necessarily equating to literal live viewers because they got the Max deal. I think that what they've done with Max is low key. It is better and more comprehensive than what WWE has done with Netflix. That's my personal opinion. That is someone from I don't even watch AEW. I'm an outsider fan, and even then I was like, they have the episodes more readily available. They don't just do one show. Hello, they don't just do Raw, fucking stupid. Like no, they do both shows get uploaded
Yeah.
immediately. You can watch them back. You don't even have to be a live viewer for it to be an AEW fan. I have had my periods where I sit there and I'll watch like a few episodes and I'm like, oh, this is what they've been doing. Okay, like, cool. I don't like the show itself as much as I still don't. I don't see that changing anytime soon. But you can't ignore what AEW is doing, and WWE is like kind of getting outflanked in certain ways. So what I think the response is, one more point. I think the response is that let's just pump these Saturday Night Main Events out and they do them. It's very obvious. They do them on the days that AEW has their big events. The entire point is to pull away viewership from the AEW
I agree.
event. And
I agree
but
wholeheartedly.
WWE's like, yeah, that's awesome. But we as fans are like, man, do I need to watch it? You know what I mean? Like, do we even care? Versus the AEW show is their actual big event. Why are we doing this? Like, why not just give them their time to have the show, man? Don't put on these pointless events. But what were you gonna say? You had a
I was
point.
just gonna say to be fair, what you're saying about AEW, I get with WWE. I get all of the. I get the Smackdowns. I get NXTs.
Well, right. That would be sick if it was that way in America for the rest of us, but it's
I
not.
will say it's pretty. It's pretty nice that
It should
everything
be
is
that
on
way.
Netflix for me. Even like, dude, I can go back and watch.
Yep.
It's like old WWE Network or Peacock or whatever.
Yeah.
I can just go back and watch literally every pay-per-view.
Well,
Right
remember,
there. I can live
dude,
stuff.
remember they had that WWE Universe thing for a little bit, and that was everything, just on an app, their own app.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
that's how me and you are. We don't say it this much on the show, but there was a part one to me and Tyler returning to WWE a few years ago. I would say that was
COVID
mostly brought
2020,
on.
baby.
No, before that. Before that, my friend, because remember it was whenever Shinsuke first appeared, which I believe was
Shinsuke
before
came
that.
out. Yeah.
It was before that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we originally got back into it because we thought Shinsuke was really cool, and just in general, some of the people. But as we started watching around that time, we were like, wait, no. Wait. No, this is bad. This is not actually that good because it was pretty weird, a lot of it. But Shinsuke was cool, right? And that kind of thing. Whatever.
Yeah.
The point is, you're right. Like, I really don't, unless something changes with that soon, I just think, I get it, there's business reasons for doing things, but I wonder at what point they're going to truly consider the quality. And I would actually say this is the same exact type of issue as something we brought up before, where it's like the crowds at a lot of these shows in America end up being dog shit. Why?
Yeah.
Because their ticket prices have gone up so much that the average person that's showing up to those front row seats are not the people that normally would have been there in the last several, even just like decade or whatever. These are richer people. They're a little less likely to be crazy and rowdy. I totally get it. I'm not saying those people have to come and be crazy, but when you start to go, well, every seat in the front is like that, every single one. You get some towns where everything's lit. You get some towns where it's the worst watching experience I've ever seen. And it's not even the wrestler's fault. It's the fucking fans' fault. And WWE's like, well, hey, look at what they're paying
You
for
gave us
this.
money.
Hey, look at what they're paying for those
Millions of
tickets. It's
dollars.
like, Jesus Christ, didn't y'all just make that deal with TKO? Didn't you just get a bunch of money? Like, good Lord.
Yeah.
I don't
They got
know,
money
man.
from Netflix. They got billions
They
of
got
dollars from
so
Netflix.
much money. Like, I just don't. Some bill is trying to be paid, right? I don't know what is going on with them, but the money, it does feel, the greed is getting crazy, is I guess the larger point I made. The greed is feeling pretty crazy right now, WWE.
Yeah,
I don't know why y'all are being crazy about it. It's like y'all are clearly the big dog in town. AEW is not taking over anytime soon, man. I don't know if you've taken the time to watch them anytime recently. They're funny.
A couple matches
I think
on
they're
Twitter,
funny. Exactly. Like, I think there's parts of it that are watchable, like, for sure. And if you are an AEW fan, I'm not here to hate on you. But I still think they're years away as far as storytelling.
I'll watch anything MJF.
Homegrown
does, bro.
talent.
MJF is goated.
That's something I know you've brought up before. Homegrown talent is just not something AEW is not. It's not their thing.
Yeah.
MJF might be one of the only prime examples where he's been there for years now, and they built him up.
Yeah.
But even him, I don't know if you've seen what he's been doing recently, but it's been a little weird. Like, it's been a little silly.
He's been going along with the Bobby Lashley.
He's with
stuff,
Bobby
right?
Lashley's
So
group now. He's just a guy in that group. What?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think it's weird. But anyways, yeah, that's basically what I would have to say on that.
From June 7th, from June 7th to July 13th, so 5 weeks time.
5 weeks, yeah.
Five
About a
weeks
month.
time, they have. This is excluding one NXT show. They have one.
I would
two,
include it. You know what? Why
three,
not? Because
four.
it's still
Like,
WWE.
Okay, so
like,
they have five. They have 5 shows in 5 weeks. 5 PLEs in 5
that's
weeks.
nuts. That is nuts. I'm sorry. June
June 7th has 2 PLEs. Money in the Bank
Right.
and Worlds Collide. Night of Champions June 28th. NXT Bash.
Jesus, I forgot about Night of
July
Champions.
12th. Saturday Night's Main Event July 12th, and WWE Evolution, which is the all women's one, on July 13th.
And then what? About a month after that is SummerSlam.
Yep, month after that SummerSlam. Not even a month because it's August 2nd, so July 13th.
Not
to
even. Only a
August-
couple weeks. That's literally like
20
2
days.
weeks.
20 days.
Yeah.
21 days.
Eey.
And then in August again, you get Clash in Paris, August 31st.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot, WWE. It's a little too much for people to take in. I don't see how you're going to be able to write.
And then we get a big break. We get a big break from Clash in Paris to Crown Jewel. Clash in Paris is August 31st. Crown Jewel is not until October 11th. So
Yeah. I'll
get
say
that.
this, like I'm not saying it feels like this yet, but I will say back in the day, the PLEs definitely felt like they meant more. I'm not saying it feels like they don't feel like anything yet, but that's like the road it seems like
Yep.
we're going down, and it's like it used to feel like those were big ass deals. I mean, for Christ's sake, I mean, I know WWE knows this, but we used to actually pay $60 for it. That's how big of a deal it was. And I am very gracious for the deal we have now, obviously, but it's just more like,
Yeah.
please don't just turn these into like specials where it's like, oh, this is just a little different from the normal thing. No, these are supposed to be big fucking deals. You know what I mean? Like these are supposed to be
Yeah,
crazy.
it's just unfortunate with all these things close together. It's like we're just not going to get storylines.
That's what I'm
We're
saying.
just
Like I
not.
don't see how they're
We're
going to
not going to get
weave
title defenses on every
convincing
single PLE.
storylines into this.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna make the PLEs like we get it. WWE, you have your big ones. You have your SummerSlam. You have your WrestleMania. You have your ones that lead up to WrestleMania, your Royal Rumbles and stuff like that. But the it's gonna get predictable if you are just going to change titles every 6 months of the year. So you're going to change titles in
Yeah.
SummerSlam, and then you're going to change titles in WrestleMania. It's already kind of gotten predictable in that sense,
I
right?
think I think literally what you're saying predicates on what they do with Jay here. I think that's like whether they decide to pull this plug like we think they should,
Yeah,
or if they're like no, he'll just gonna keep going. I think that'd be a mistake. I think you need
yeah.
to let someone else
They've
take
done a
it.
better job. They've done a better job with like Rhea winning it or Io winning it on
You're right.
Raw.
You're right.
You know, Tiffy cashing in on an episode of SmackDown. Um,
No, that stuff has been
like
better.
those type of things, right? So it's getting a little less predictable. You know, Bronson Reed coming back and joining that, like those things are happening, right? It's just I don't know. You just with all of those main shows, again, I can't stress it enough. You're going to lose out on storylines. It's just going to happen. People are going to get bored, and it's just you're going to turn into AEW at that point with no storylines. You're just
Yeah.
putting on shows. You're just putting
Yeah.
on shows at that point.
I agree.
So
But you know, we'll see. Obviously, it's like we're talking about it all because at this point, I mean, none of this is changing. So it would be more of like, well, let's see what is different next year.
yeah.
The problem is,
Hopefully Daniel and I are completely wrong, and this is like the best thing that they've ever done, right?
yeah.
But I don't
Unfortunately,
see that.
you already brought up the main thing here, which is, and this also goes undiscussed in a lot of like the people I listen and watch or just read or whatever for wrestling. But man, I feel like taking away the house shows is like a pretty damn big deal for the actual wrestlers themselves, and I'm wondering how much of an effect that's ending up having on what we're talking about, like scheduling for live events. 'Cause
Well, it's having it for that, but it's also it's a big effect of the like what you were saying and mentioning earlier, the ticket prices.
that too. That's a great point
That's
actually.
exactly
That's
what it
very
is.
true. That's
You
very
know, you
true.
take away three house shows where you're paying $20 to get into a house show.
Just show
That
up for a
adds
couple
up to
hours.
okay.
All
So now
hey,
my $100 ticket is now $150 because you're not having two house shows throughout the week. So
I'm wondering how much of a hit the merch sales take from not selling in those house arena shows. Like that's got to be one of the
I don't
biggest.
know. I don't know how.
They sell a lot of merch at those shows. Like
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
very one to one. There's no shipping involved. You literally just bring a shit ton of inventory of stuff and people buy it. You know what I mean? When is the most likely time of WWE fans going to buy some shit? Is when it's right there fucking in front of you and you just watch the wrestler. I guess that's
When
how
I
I would
bought
see
my
it.
stuff.
But that's what I'm getting at. So it's like maybe each show didn't bring in a ton, but if you add it up and you take all of them away all at once, well, all of a sudden, yeah, now you are talking about a pretty big chunk of money that
Yeah.
you're losing out on. I don't know. I don't know their finances. Maybe at the end of the day, the cost is too great. Versus what they make on merch, that kind of I don't know. But point is, it's clearly having an effect, slowly but surely. It's important to not let these things go unnoticed. You know, because we want quality fucking wrestling. Jesus Christ, we're adult men
Yep.
watching WWE, so it's the least I can ask for. Um,
Oh, you had to say it like that.
hey, it is what it is. This is the D&T wrestling show. But
You're
yeah,
right.
that's all I got. If unless
I
you
think
want any
that's the.
final
I
words,
think we can wrap it up there, my friend. I think we
think
can
we're
just
good
go ahead and
for
wrap it up.
this episode 11, y'all. We got Friday
Hmm.
Night SmackDown coming up here in a couple days. No pay-per-view, so you can most likely expect an episode from us Saturday. If not Saturday, then it'd be Sunday. So come on, join the stream. You know what? I'll say this: if you have made it here to the end of this, either YouTube
Oh yeah,
video or Twitch stream, the
new update.
idea is I'm streaming on Twitch right now. You see our Twitch links below our names here. I would like for the next stream to be on YouTube. So if you're subscribed to us on YouTube and watching this on YouTube right now, whatever the hell you do, whatever, or if you're watching on Twitch, I don't know. Come Saturday or Sunday, look for that YouTube stream. You can come in, comment in there the same exact way. If you're already subscribed, you'll pop up as someone that's subscribed to us, and we'll see that. It'll be awesome. So we want to see how well that works out, see if it's any different, and that's where we will be. If it works out well, we might stay there. For now, we can only stream on one thing at a time. That's kind of what I'm getting at. We can't do multiple until we feel like paying for it, which will be soon. Just saying, it will be soon. Don't worry. But the YouTube stream is coming soon. That's all I got, Tyler. Any final notes? Otherwise, I'll sign off.
No, yeah, excited for the YouTube stream. Hopefully, that's I think it's gonna be a lot easier. So come join us on YouTube. You can obviously watch the stream, and then either if you're not watching the stream, you just you turn it off and then watch it later. That's gonna be because it's gonna be up there at the same time, right? So it'll be easy for you guys.
Yep,
a lot easier. And you're not gonna go flipping back and forth between mine or Daniel's Twitch. So you're just gonna actually be on one page, right?
It'll just be one D&T Wrestling Show YouTube page for y'all. So cool.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. Let's sign off there.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on another episode. This was episode 11. We will be back in a few days. Y'all take it easy. Have a blessed week. Have a blessed weekend. Peace.
Is this episode 11?